Fine, thank you. Fine.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
I just saw your son over there playing soccer. How are things?
Things are good.
That's good.
Good, yeah.
I see you over here pondering. What are you thinking about?
Contemplating right now on the work of Earth Assembly. And this is really what is taking up my thinking right now.
So tell me a little bit about Earth Assembly.
Well, basically Earth Assembly is made up of all of the Father's people globally. Father as in El Elyon, and all of the faith in his Son are those people that make up Earth Assembly. It's a universal body of people.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You mentioned the name, Alien?
Alien.
Alien. Well, who and where is that?
Good question. Alien is the original ancient name for the Most High Creator, the ruler of the cosmos. That's the original name, and he's doing great work in our time here on Earth. And once again, we, the Earth Assembly people, we can enlighten this present generation to this great name.
So why now?
Well, the Father had a plan, and he chose this generation because this is the generation that the great Son of Righteousness that Malachi the prophet spoke about is rising, and it's rising in this generation. It's rising to purify our minds and our spirit and our soul so that we can be ready to absorb all of this great knowledge that the Father, the Alien, has for us.
Are there any differences between the Children of the View and Earth Assembly?
Not really. They're one and the same. Because Earth Assembly, who are made up of all of Yahweh's children worldwide, it's the people who have the clear view of the Creator. The clear view meaning the view about the Most High's creation and the things that He does and what He's making. So basically that is what it is. The view is just saying we have a view, a clear view of what the Creator's concept and worldview is about His own creation. So basically that's what that is.
You mentioned the view a couple times, and as a university student, I know there's a lot of philosophical views that have been historic in my learning and in the learning of the rest of the world, and I was just wondering, how does that differ from the Creator's view? What is the Creator's view, and how do we come to understand it?
It's a good question. And the five senses, it's not sharp enough to pick up all of the knowledge and wisdom that there is in the cosmos, because the Father, the Most High, is infinite in wisdom, whereas man is finite. So, in order to know the Creator's view and the divine philosophy, one has to get their sixth sense or third eye opened up by the Father, by the Most High, so that He can transmit or give His worldview to them so that they can understand what His worldview is in contrast to what man is. There are two different things. Then the second thing about man's philosophy is that most philosophers rule the Most High God out of their knowledge and learning. We can even see today man's philosophy is in the educational system, and some of them try very hard to rule God out of it. Like in our westernized society where Jesus of Nazareth is Lord, many of the schools don't want the Lord's Prayer. Whereas in the view of the Creator, the divine philosophy, every person that make up the earth assembly will get to know that the Father is in everything. Without him there is nothing. Man's philosophy is great, but without the Father in it, it will come to a futile end. Whereas the Father's philosophy, it is full of life. It's eternal. It has strength. He's the one who sustains everything. And because of that, there is future and hope and goodwill to all mankind.
How do I, myself, get to a place where I can understand the view of the Creator and Earth Assembly? How do I get
Well,
there?
first of all, the golden seed is the name of Jesus of Nazareth, and we use it by speaking to the eternal Father, or praying. Some people would call it praying, but I say speaking to him. And the reason why I'm saying speaking is because he's our eternal Father. We speak to him as though we were speaking to a parent or a good friend. So when we speak to him with all our heart and all our soul, in truth, then he begins to respond to us. He said when we look for him, he will look for us. And when we will seek him with all our heart, we will find him. And so as we look for him and search for him and speak to him in our own words, he responds. And remember, we do not have to go to a mountain to find him, or a synagogue, or a church, or a temple, or a cathedral. We find him in our own space, right here and now, because he's everywhere. He's the universal cosmic force. He's El Elyon. He's everywhere. In fact, the Apostle Paul says, in him we live and move and have our being. So that's how we find it.
Wow, that is revolutionary, because not only have you spoke about being in your own space and not having to go wherever to talk to the Creator. I've never heard such things. I've only heard of through a medium of a church or something of that nature. So it's really interesting.
Very good. And I'll tell you the reason why. When I was 5 years old, and the cosmic Lord, the Most High God, came to me as a child, I didn't go to a church or a mountain or a cathedral or anywhere. And from 5 years old, he has been coming to me in different form, in different ways, and speaking to me, and I was speaking back to him and asking questions as a child that no minister or priest could answer. And yet, I follow on, he leads me, and I follow. And to this day, I'm 65 years old, he's still speaking to me, using this generation to get a true taste of him, because he is the life of the world. He's the water and bread of life. And so, here's my story.
This is really deep, you guys. What are you guys discussing here? What are you guys talking about?
Oh, we are basically discussing how the will of the Most High God can be reached through using the golden key, which is the name of his son, Jesus of Nazareth.
Do you mean Jesus of Nazareth is capable of allowing humanity to get to know the Father?
Well, that's exactly so, because that's why he came, and that's why he lived among men and he died. His death on the cross, was very, very significant in us getting all these divine truths, because he made a will for all of his children, his brothers and sisters, and the will states all the inheritance that we should get. Now a will is not like a contract. A will is an inheritance. You can always, and you can only receive that inheritance when the will is received. That's why it was necessary, or that's one of the reasons why he had to die, so that we now can receive the will that he left to us. The problem is, in order to receive from the will, you must know that it is there for you. And when you know, then you should also know what this will is all about, so that you can claim what is yours.
Well, what's the will?
The will is the true knowledge, the divine knowledge, the divine philosophy that He leaves for us to know. And this incorporates all aspects and areas of our life, what we should have and what we cannot have.